action! The Conference of Champions is once again putting on a marquee show.
Iriafe! How about a three?
And this year has even surpassed the hype.
Oregon State defeating Colorado in double overtime.
Award-worthy performances by top-billed stars.
Rice. 51 inside Maples Pavilion.
Finishes that demand a standing O. Talia for the win. She's got it! She's got it! The best of the best battle for the conference crown right here on Pac-12 Network.
Well, the talent has risen to the top here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Only 4 teams remain for the semifinals of the Pac-12 Women's Basketball Tournament presented by Acura. What a season and tournament it's been so far. The winners tonight move on to the championship game. Top seed Stanford and 4th seed Oregon State. The top 4 teams making it to the semifinals. First time since 2020. We are loaded with talent here tonight. And hi, everybody. So glad you could be with us. I'm Krista Blank alongside the coach, Mary Murphy. And wow, Mary, talent galore on this court tonight. These 2 teams, it's interesting. Stanford, they have won this tournament 15 times. They want another one. And for Oregon State, 1 championship for them. They say, why not us?
Pac-12 women's basketball has been defined by Stanford Cardinal, and they are looking to add number 16 to the tournament titles. For this Oregon State team, they were picked 10th in the preseason polls. Right now, Charlie Cream has them as a 3rd seed in the NCAA tournament. They have come out of nowhere. The only people that believed was that team. This is going to be a great game tonight.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And both of these teams have impressive duos on the interior. And for Oregon State, it's Reagan Beers as well as Tamia Gardner.
The best sophomore front line in the country. In Beers, 6'2" of just pure power. The high-low game, she just puts you in jail and comes away with points. Playing with the mask because of the broken nose, she just gets it done in so many ways. Tamia Gardner, 6th player of the year in the Pac-12 Conference, can hit the 3, can put it on the floor. She can play, it feels like, anywhere from 2 to 5. Great versatility, terrific hands, uses all that strength, and boy, is she finishing this season strong.
Talent for them, and the Cardinal bringing the Pac-12 Player of the Year and Most Improved in Brink and Iriafen.
The Player of the Year, of course, Cameron Brink. Also the Defensive Player of the Year. A year ago, the National Defensive Player of the Year. She does it all. She just keeps getting better in every single category. And speaking of improvement, you can't say most improved without Kiki Iriafen. In every facet of the game of basketball, Kiki Iriafen has risen above and has taken control. This is just a great duo to watch. This game is
getting ready for the first semifinal of the evening. Cameron Brink and the Stanford Cardinal, the top seed, getting ready to take on the 4 seed Oregon State. As we take a look at our starting lineups, brought to you by Las Vegas for the Cardinal. Talana Lapolo will start at point with Elena Bozgana. She has started this entire season. Hannah Jump in the other guard spot. And in the high and low post, it's Cameron Brink and Kiki Iriafen, that talented duo we talked about, getting it done this year for the Cardinal and Tara Vanderveer. And on the other side, for Oregon State, Donovan Hunter will run the point with Talia von Oelhoffen, A.J. Marat, those 3 in the guard spots with Tamia Gardner and Reagan Beers. No seniors for this Oregon State team. You got Hunter, who's come in as a freshman and done incredibly well playing for Scott Ruick. The team he's putting together, pretty impressive, Mayor. Tournament history between these 2 teams. Stanford 6-0. They have won the last 14 in a row, counting regular season games. Oregon State would love to turn that around. Brink and Beers in the center circle. Tip is up and we go. Beeves get the ball first. These teams all have that first round bye. Top 4 seeds. And fighting for the ball. Hunter trying to keep it alive. Needing some help, and finally Beers able to catch up.
What a great job of staying alive.
Yeah, she was trying not to move too much. Didn't want to get called for the travel, but she had Stanford Cardinal players all around her. Shot clock down to 5. Beeves got to recognize. Beers trying to hang on, and does. The reverse is good. First points to Oregon State.
Of course, that's going to be a great matchup to watch. Beers and Cameron Brink. Beers and Kiki Iriafen.
Well, it's interesting. Oregon State did not have Beers in their last meeting against Stanford at home. She had the broken nose, had to sit out. You can see the face mask for her. At Stanford, no Cameron Brink in that when she was out due to illness. And so now finally, both teams full go. Using the high screen and hits. Hunter works it perfectly.
Hunter has scored 3 points in the 2 games against Stanford this season.
Yeah, she's been a facilitator, but her shot has not been on. Hannah Jump struggled a bit against Oregon State. Brink in the high post, knew it was going down.
Her confidence is just, you can feel it wherever she is on the floor, both ends of the floor. The most important thing, as it always is with Cameron Brink, is to stay out of early foul trouble. Yep. That's really the only thing that holds her back.
Yep, certainly so. She picked up 3 personals in the first half last night against Cal. They get the win over Cal. Cal was up at halftime. Oregon State got the win in double OT, the first double OT in tournament history against Colorado. As Brink tries the 3 ball, the rebound, there's Iriafen, another chance, and Brink takes it right in. The communication between those two is special.
Kiki Iriafen averages 4 offensive rebounds a game. I mean, she can just destroy you. That's like, 8 or 10 points every ball game.
Brink, all 4 of Stanford's points to start this.
Got the switch.
And the Polo, I think, got caught up and gonna get whistled for the foul.
Get the pass to Brink. A great pro move. Just a little step back.
Yep.
Shot goes up. Kiki Iriafen. Brink says, I'm coming your way.
Moving without the ball and letting her know about it. Iriafen's extra effort ties this one up. There's Gardner. What a season she's having in her sophomore year. Beers, shot clock down to 4. Trying to get a little bit closer. The defense helping off. Brink's gonna bring it up. The extra pass. Ghana just off.
Big key for Stanford and for Oregon State. Their perimeter players. Can they score efficiently, effectively, hit open shots? That could determine the winner of this ball game.
Yeah, Ghana, 16 points. She had 4 threes in the win last night over Cal. She started every single game. Bigger role this year for her, for certain. Hunter picking it up. Gets it back. Help D, and that one way off. But there's Gardner. O-board. And the shot clock, it didn't catch iron. I think they'll have to check that.
One thing to keep in mind as this game progresses, this Oregon State team played a double overtime game last night to beat just a tough Colorado team. A Colorado team that we're going to see in the NCAA tournament that makes you work for every single shot, every single dribble, every single pass. So will fatigue at some point start wearing down Oregon State?
Yeah, good question. We'll have to see. They said that it did hit the iron, so they got a 20 on the shot clock for the Beavs. It was a hard physical game against Colorado. Beers just off.
For Stanford, they are happy for Beers to take those 15-foot to 17-foot shots rather than have her play power ball in the paint.
Focus for them coming in definitely is to control the glass. Rebounding will be huge in this one, and both teams wanting to control the paint.
But also, if Beers is high and roaming the perimeter, it's much less likely for Cameron Brink to get into foul trouble than she is down low.
Yeah, great point. They need her on the floor, and they are a different team when she isn't. As Dom Parova checks in, the 6-foot freshman out of the Czech Republic. Beers picks up her first personal. She'll get a breather.
She was dynamic last night.
She was.
13 points, played 34 minutes.
And she looked spent as she gave every ounce of energy that she had in the double OT win over Colorado. It was physical, and she was giving it her all.
I mean, on the season, only averaging 16 minutes a game.
Sophomore from Littleton, Colorado. Got her 15th double-double this year as Brink gives Stanford the lead. Her 6 points to Oregon State's 4.
And it's that kind of move that just has been so expanding of her game this year.
Boy, how much has she worked on every aspect of her game. They're going to call the travel on Parova.
the off-season work, Pau Gasol, and when you watch Pau Gasol play, you see these kind of moves. Gardner having to guard in space, kind of clear it out, give her some space to work, and the reaction from Brink and Tara.
Loving it. Go to the go-to, and they've been able to do that so far. Jump, quick release off the iron, Erie off, and another O-board. She cleans this one up.
It's like she's got a pogo stick. I mean, the timing is impeccable.
Yeah, she is on it. It's an 8-0 Stanford run, up by 4. Gardner fades it off the back.
8-0 run by Stanford.
Apollo squares up, around and out. And a good box out by the Beavs. It's going to be an over and back call on Stanford.
Going to get Iriafen, Perova, just a great job. Kiki Iriafen averages 4 offensive rebounds a game. She already has 2, and it's automatic when she gets it.
First personal on Iriafen. Second team foul to the Cardinal. So she'll take a seat. And the Beavs need a bucket. 0 for their last 5. They got out to a good start and been quieted since.
Dimitri on the floor.
And there's a kick out. Perova able to find Gardner outside.
Gardner she's special. She can do pick and pop, knock down threes. You're going to see her play in the WNBA in a couple of years.
She's mostly come off the bench this entire way as Hannah Jump keeps going and Brink able to find her.
You just have to follow Brink, Jump so far out because you're worried about the 3 that when she curls off that high post screen, she's open 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, you talk about expanding a game, and another one for Gardner, back-to-back buckets. She's got 5.
And when she starts feeling it, it just starts flowing.
1 point Stanford lead. There's Dimitri. She's been big this year off the bench, a spark, but that time the pass off the mark, the turnover gives it back.
Tamia Gardner with the hot start. Pass, go by, make it look easy.
4 minutes remaining in the first quarter of our first semifinal of the evening, and Stanford's got the 1-point lead over Oregon State. We want to bring in the third member of our team, Alyssa Charleston. And Alyssa, Oregon State has quite a talented player in Talia von Oelhoffen. She's really stepped up in so many different ways this year.
Yeah, it's easy to notice that her scoring may be down just a little bit this year, but her impact on winning for the Beavers has skyrocketed with the best turnover to assist ratio that she has had in her career. Scott Rueck has asked something different of his 3-level scorer this year, and that's to be a facilitator. Don't ever doubt that she still can't light it up, though. She knew she had to take over the last time OSU played the Stanford Cardinal in Corvallis. A cool 27 points. Talia said she used to care a little bit about those scoring numbers. Now she honestly only cares about winning, and you saw it with the attempt to come back for the Beavers against the Cardinal. Scott Rueck told me today she has the best court vision of any player he has ever coached, and it's not even close. You know, both of you, how much that means, because that's a long list of greats at Oregon State that he's coached. She directs traffic like no one else and moves her teammates around. And Rueck also loves her devotion to defense this season, even tasking her with guarding Kiki Iriafen in Corvallis during key moments. She's obviously happy to have Reagan Beers healthy to do some of that tonight.
And if you think back to the COVID year of 2021, she came out of high school at mid-year, joined this Oregon squad in January, and had just a great, quote, freshman year. But she has been a terrific mentor and leader to the young backcourt of Donovan Hunter and Kennedy Schuler, and the great sophomores that this team has as well.
Yeah, she certainly has. Well, out of the timeout, Gardner keeps the hot hand, and they take the lead back, and that high post shot is going for her. She's got 7 points. But yeah, von Oelhoffen has really taken on a different role, and as Alyssa stated, you know, she typically is also playing the top guard on the other team, sometimes even on the perimeter, I guess, or in the interior rather. Beers, she and Brink, a little collision, no whistle, and Beers gets the bucket.
So if there's no whistle, play on, and that's exactly what Reagan Beers does. And when you look at the physics of the matter and weight and mass, if Beers hits you, she's going to move you.
4 points for Beers, the baby hook won't go for Brink, but Hannah jumps trying to keep it alive, and they'll say jump ball. It's going to stay with the Cardinals, so little extra help from jump.
Beers comes down, gets her position, just kind of unloads on Brink, no call. She says, thank you very much, let's play on.
6-0 run for Oregon State, so game of runs so far, and they've regained their lead.
So the point for Cameron Brink, you need to get earlier position to force Beers further away from the basket.
Beers just very physical inside, and you're right, you get there too late, it's tough to get back. Shot no good from the high post for Brink.
It's been a 6-0 run now for Oregon State. This game is just going back and forth.
Beeves shooting 50% so far compared to 38 for the Cardinal. Kick out to the perimeter, that's what Parova does. She had a big one to force OT against Colorado last night.
Forcing the double team on Beers. Kick it out, Parova makes Stanford pay. Find the open player when the double comes and find it fast.
Her first points of the game, part of the all-freshman team, honorable mention this year. Brink wanting the three, good box out by AJ Marat. Nunu Aguirre's checked in for the Cardinal, as well as Janiyah Harriel. 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Expecting a fairly fast one. Both these teams like to get out and run when they get the chance. Hesitation, Parova just hit a three, drives it in, dishes it off, Beers with the finish.
Drive is a threat, draw all of that attention, and then dish it off with the left hand. That's a thing of beauty. Parova having an early impact on this ball game.
She has. And 6 points for Beers. Oh, beautiful scoop up and good. Boscana's first points.
Yeah, we haven't seen her go right a lot, so that may have surprised some of the Beavers.
Like how aggressive she's starting to look and her confidence she's been building as she's become a starter, the junior from Greece. Played in 28 games last year to Boscana, did not start though, and there's help D, but they give up an open look on the other side. Nobody dropped down.
Okay, that was not a replay. That was just another play.
8 points for Beers. And Brink wanting to get into the action as well, trying to draw the foul. Says, not gonna get it.
Beers adjusting the mask, kind of feeling her chin a bit.
Yeah, it really hasn't been very long. She got back for the final regular season game after missing 4.
Yeah, it was a bad injury.
Yeah. And I think just brilliant to get her back, and they are happy. She's got 10 points.
Talked about the dynamic front line. 10 for Beers, 7 for Gardner. Domination by the front line.
And a 15-2 run. Brink trying to stop it, and that went around and out. It did everything but drop for her.
Boy, Kiki Uriathan left the game, and everything changed. And this is going to feel a little like Gill Coliseum.
And they miss her aggression inside as Hunter drives it, banks it good. Everything clicking for the Beavs. Clock winding down, gotta put it up, and it's just short, and that will do it. First quarter in the books.
17-2 run by Oregon State.
Flip the script on the Cardinals, shooting 61% in the first quarter.
There's the matchup inside. Brink early, but it was Beers all first quarter.
It's a battle up front, and they have made their presence known in this one already, Mayor.
Yeah, I mean, Uriathan goes out of the ball game, and everything changed. Tamia Gardner dominant early. Rig and Beers just takes over. The refs just saying, we're going to let them play, and Cameron Brink hasn't really found her footing on either end of the floor. And right now, it is all Oregon State.
I mean, think about it. Neither team went to the free throw line after the first quarter, but you can see the difference on the interior. And it was Oregon State going on that big 17-2 run and putting the Beavs on top. Scott Ruick, 14th season as the head coach, named the Pac-12 Coach of the Year by the media this season. His 5th time with that honor, and got his 9th 20-plus winning season, and ready to go from a season where they finished 11th to flip it around and get to the NCAA tournament. And the hot hands just keep on coming on Olhoffen getting into the action.
Not sure why Talia von Olhoffen even hesitated. She's such just a high efficiency shooter.
Offen in the high post, her shot just off. Courtney Ogden's checked in for the Cardinal, freshman from Atlanta, Georgia.
For Oregon State, take advantage. Stanford's going to be ice cold. Just keep them in the freezer.
Yep, great point. Let's see, Reese has come in also for the Beavs. Junior transfer from Utah.
Talia von Olhoffen comes off this high post screen. And the game within the game here is really Reagan Beers, one of the best high post screeners in the country.
Yep, she certainly is. And you got that, you better use it. On Olhoffen trying to lose LaPolo. High screen on LaPolo, and she makes her pay.
Did I mention she sets really good screens?
Yep, she does. Back-to-back buckets for von Olhoffen. She's got 4.
There's no stat for that, but Reagan Beers does an exceptional job.
Yeah, it matters. If you're a shooter, it is so key. Offen can't get it. Second chance. Here's Ogden. She'll square it up and stick it. Big production and much needed off the bench for the Cardinal. First bucket in a while.
21-2 run. Yeah, for Stanford. It's a score.
Huge. Roba finds Reese. Trying to utilize the one-on-one inside. Reese has expanded her range off the iron. They get another one.
Yeah, those years at Utah helped her develop that three-point shot, no doubt. Transferred in during the offseason.
Yep, 38% shooter out there. And then Reese picking it up, needs some help trying to find von Olhoffen. LaPolo saying no way as the clock winds down to 2. Right baseline, and the left shot misses everything, so shot clock violation and a stop that the Cardinal needed.
Courtney Ogden, offensive rebound, pulls it back out. You're going to double Brink. I'll take the 12-footer.
Murat will take a seat. Beers will as well.
Oregon State is sizzling 57% from the floor. Stanford sitting at 35. They can't get much to go.
Yeah, much below their average. They come in shooting 46% from the floor, but let's not forget what a great defensive team Oregon State is. They hold their opponents to 35% shooting. Jump, uses the screen, the curl, shot no good, and outrunning. Here's Hunter. Looking for the trail, the extra pass. Perova, just off. Reese bats it out, another try.
Right now, Stanford looks like the team that played double OT.
They do. Another offensive board for the Beavs. They're 6th. Clock down to 5. Perova up high. Just off. Kiki was out running saying, yeah, I'm still open. That's one of those misses. Gets it back. Jump. Can she make it hurt? Yep. Straight through.
The offensive rebound, kick out to Hannah Jump. Such a big part of the Stanford offense. They need Hannah Jump to be big tonight.
They do. She was 0 for 2 yesterday in the game against Cal. Did not score. They can't have that. And there is Perova using the high screen.
How relaxed does Perova look?
Her second 3 of the game. She has 6 points. She's building confidence after the double-digit game yesterday, and Offen gets by the D.
Yeah, she can really hurt you in space. Just posts up a little higher than the block and just gives her room when she gets the ball.
Offen in the win at Stanford, the career high, 36 points in that one. She had 12 boards. Just an incredible outing with no Cameron Brink in that one, so she stepped up big. Reese, a mismatch
inside.
Perova fakes the 3, takes it up.
You might want to put your sneakers back on, Cameron Brink.
8 points for Dom Perova. Offen. Strong, but didn't quite get the angle on the layup. Fast pace this first half has been. Scott Ruick talked with his team today about doing the little things. Just make Stanford a little uncomfortable. You can't believe the little things that'll make a difference. And they've done a lot of big things as the shot clock was winding down. Another offensive rebound for the Beavs.
Number 7.
All over the glass. Converted a ton of them, but taking away chances for Stanford. Shot clock down to 2. Gardner. Oh, and at the last tick of the shot clock, a whistle and a foul gonna go. It's gonna go against Brink.
Perova is just putting on a show. Comes off that screen. You're gonna go behind. No problem. Relaxed. Knocks it down. Little head fake on Cameron Brink. Layup. Late help.
Foul on Brink, her first, team's first. And it puts Gardner to the stripe, the sophomore from Ogden, Utah.
And what this lead has done for Scott Ruick and Oregon State, they were able to sit Beers for some significant time, get some rest. Now they put her back in.
Yeah, what a plus. Again, coming off the double OT, and she played so much of it. 9 points for Gardner. A balanced attack by the Beavs. Almost everyone has scored that's been out there. 5 minutes left in the first half. Erie off and pretty stroke from the left baseline.
And Stanford has some work to do before halftime.
They certainly do. High screen. Gardner just misses. Erie often couldn't get out on her. Jump. No hesitation. How about the left wing for the 3?
And with the high efficiency that Oregon State has been shooting, Stanford not able to get the miss and run. They get the miss, they run, they get an easy 3 for Hannah Jump.
8 points for Jump. And 4 the last 5 going in for the Cardinal. They needed it. Good box out for Stanford, and then the reach in after. It'll be the first team foul on Oregon State.
Kiki Iriafen trying to get her team rolling. Steps out to about 18. In transition, Lapolo connects, and so does Hannah Jump.
Here, Alyssa.
Rebounding over and over again. Rebound, they're talking about long rebounds, especially Cameron Brink saying a lot of these shots for the Beavers are going long. You got to reposition and make sure you're boxing out. The other thing, really wanting to make Tamir Gardner put it on the bounce.
Yep, thanks, Alyssa. You know, rebounding, giving up 7-0 boards. The break for Stanford is they haven't given up a ton of points off of them. They've finally started crashing the glass as well. It's fairly even in second chance points. Beers gets it swatted by Iriafen. Brink helps her out. And the Cardinal trying to push. Oh, and the trail, Iriafen right there.
The growth of Bozgana. In the past, earlier this season, she would have shot that ball. Instead, patience, wait. Here comes Iriafen with the trail.
8 points for Iriafen. One-on-one inside Beers and Brink. Trying to stand her ground. Frustration, but able to get it.
7-0 run by Stanford.
Bozgana's taken on such a bigger role this year. Looking to score, but also looking for her teammates. Brink looking for contact, no whistle. Trying to get the bigs into some foul trouble inside, but it's not going their way. We've only had 2 total free throws taken in this one. They've gone to the Beavs.
And Beers and Gardner have not been tagged with a foul yet.
From the high post, shot no good. Adley Blacklock has checked in for Oregon State.
Great shooter.
She's up on Bozgana. Face up. Little overcompensation, and again, Brink asking for the foul. Not going to get it.
Yeah, showing a lot of frustration.
Yep. Now matched up with Gardner. You got Iriafen in the high post with Beers. Hunter using the Beers screen. Too much.
Offensive rebounds have slowed for Oregon State.
Yeah, they got the message in that last huddle apparently, as that quick shot is no good. Stanford a 7-0 run to chip away at the deficit, down by 16 at one time. Got it below double digits with 2 minutes left. It's been a fast first half. Spin, Gardner That's a shot that was going early in this one.
What did Alyssa tell us? Make Gardner put it on the floor.
Yep. Brink leans in, can't get it. Ooh, Ariafen and Beers. And who's it gonna be on?
Maybe the second on Ariafen.
Yep. Yep. She's gonna take a seat. Dimitri is gonna come in. Yeah, second on Ariafen. Some frustration, I think. Okay, coming up, gonna send you to the desk for the Walt Disney World Resort halftime report. Wow, what a job they have been doing. Kelsey Plum's gonna join them. That's exciting as well. First half highlights and stats, much more. That's Ashley, Elise, and Angela. There's Kelsey Plum. There's Jackie Young. The Aces showing their hardware out at midcourt a little bit ago. See some of the Aces fans wearing their t-shirts here and sweatshirts.
Gonna get Bozgana.
Bozgana.
Doesn't hurt them, just the third team foul.
Yep, that's just her first. Beers will take another breather. Maroc comes back in. Reagan Beers, just one of 25 players in the nation averaging a double-double.
Trying to grab Beers as much rest as they can. They played 41.5 minutes last night.
That's a lot.
Bozgana gonna get her second.
Wow, and that was quick. So Tara Vanderveer is going to go to the bench. She'll bring in Chloe Clardy, a freshman out of Conway, Arkansas.
So all the momentum started flowing Stanford's way, and then the calls didn't come, and then they start fouling, and all of a sudden it's kind of like who's going to seize control the final minute 15 of this second quarter.
Yeah, both teams have gone on a bit of a drought. Neither team has scored for almost 3 minutes. And Olhoffen, the high screen from Gardner. Dimitri's trying to stay with her. Step back, can't get it.
Really night and day.
Where that shot was going.
Again, made her put it on the floor.
Under a minute left in the first half. Brink feeling out the D. Wow, tries to go up to draw the contact. And they blow the whistle. And they're gonna call it on Oregon State.
And for Cameron Brink, just have to keep working.
Just the first personal on Gardner and the second team foul.
This is a very physical front line to go against between Gardner and Beers. They're hard to displace.
Yep. They really are strong and crafty. They've got the post moves and play down. Brink is doing everything she can to get herself to the stripe. And just misses that one. 1 for 2 from the line.
87% free throw shooter, one of the country's best.
Yeah.
Goes 1 for 1.
That's one of those
1 for
aspects
2
of her
That's
game.
bad math right there.
That's all right. That she's improved upon. Kurova weaving around. Tipped out play. It stays with Oregon State 11 on the shot clock.
Brink got beat once. She was not going to get beat a second time by Perova on that drive.
That's right. Polo all over Von Olhoffen. Kick out to Perova from Gardner. That one grazes the iron and drops off. 8-0 Stanford run. Can they chip into this deficit even more before halftime?
After the sizzling start, Oregon State 0 for the last 10.
Hand check up high. The third team foul on Oregon State.
Again, not a bad foul. Don't let Stanford initiate and get their offense moving.
First on Donovan Hunter. She'll take a seat. Kennedy Schuler's going to come in, freshman out of Oregon.
Hunter, 5 rebounds in the first half.
She's an incredible rebounding guard. Schuler, and now a hand check from Schuler now, the fourth team foul with 4.7 left. That'll be her first.
Just mucking it up.
But Brink started this game 3 for 4 shooting. Since then, 0 for 8. They have just collapsed upon her, making her work so hard. See if they can get her here before halftime. Steps it back, baseline, and that went off the mark, and that will do it. First half in the books. And a bit of a scoring drought for both sides, but Stanford an 8-0 run to get back into this game, down by 16 at one point.
Yeah, they had dug a big hole. They couldn't find the bottom of the basket, and Oregon State was pouring it on. Things started leveling out a bit. Stanford got themselves back in the ballgame, but there is work to do, and job one is to get Brink just offensively in a whole lot more rhythm.
Absolutely. Tara Vanderveer standing by with Alyssa Charleston. Alyssa?
Coach, after a hot start for Oregon State, your team held them 2 of 15 to end the half. What was the adjustment defensively?
You know, we just did not rebound in the beginning. You know, I think that they're being more physical than we are, so we just have to make that adjustment and get on the glass and take it to the basket stronger.
What are you seeing with Oregon State's defense on Cam Brink and Kiki Iriofan?
I see a very physical game, so we have to adjust to that. So, but I think Cam is playing really well. She's working really hard. I think Tawana's working really hard. Hannah's getting us going, so I think we'll have a great second half.
All right, can't wait to see it. Thanks.
We haven't had any upsets yet here in Vegas, but Oregon State hoping to change that. Reagan Beers scoring all 10 of her first half points in the first quarter. The Beavs led by as many as 16 in this game. But Stanford went on an 8-0 run to close out the half as we look at the Walt Disney World first half stats. Beavs winning the rebounding battle, and it's the second straight night that Stanford will head into the locker room down 8 at the half. So we'll see if they've got another comeback in them. A lot to talk about in this one, and we got somebody to join us to break it all down. How about it? The two-time WNBA champ and the Pac-12's all-time scoring leader, Kelsey Plum. Tell you what, there's a lot of greatness in the house tonight here in Las Vegas. How about it? Kelsey Plum being honored the all-time leading scorer in Pac-12 history. She's won back-to-back WNBA championships with the Aces, and one of our all-time favorites. Joining the set now, Kelsey, it is always so good to see you, my friend. How you doing?
Ladies, it's a pleasure to be here. You know, it's the last hurrah, so
I'm the last hurrah.
I'm proud. You know, a lot of memories, but thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming, and we'll talk about some of your memories, but let's talk about what we saw in that first half. Oregon State came to play. What stood out to you?
I think you got to give credit to Scott Rueck in the way that he coaches. I mean, that man used to keep me up and give me nightmares because he makes you take shots that you don't really want to take, and I think Stanford has settled tremendously in the first half. I also think, too, they're just so disciplined on the offensive end. They execute, they get into their stuff, they get exactly what they want, and as you can see as a result, you know, they're dominating this game.
I didn't know there was a shot you didn't want to take.
At least I've grown.
Pass the ball, bro. For this first half, the quality of play. We're looking at 4 teams right now that are all going to be hosting the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. The talent level, what are you seeing out there that in this game particularly that catches your eye?
It's tremendous. I mean, you talk about big, skilled athletes. I think that I've been really impressed with the face-up game of Oregon State. I've also been really impressed with the post play. But Stanford has some ballers, and I think that they didn't show their greatest potential in the first half. But that's what happens about postseason. At the end of the day, you know, teams take things away, but then you just kind of elevate your game. And I have a feeling Kiki and Cameron Brink, they're going to figure that out in the second half.
Kelsey, you've been on the floor in many of these situations. You talked about how well Oregon State has been playing. They went on a 21-2 run through the first quarter and the second quarter. How important was it for this Stanford team to only be down by 8 points going into halftime?
They should be super encouraged. I think they played not their brand of basketball, and that happens, right? Like, Oregon State's going to take away things that they do really well, but in the second half, Stanford, they got to play their pace. I think they slowed down a little bit and kind of catered to Oregon State. I think they got to play fast. I also think they got to move the ball a little bit better and don't settle.
Kelsey, I know you mentioned some of the memories that you have playing in this league and in this tournament. I just love to reflect. I will never forget that night in 2017 when you dropped 57 on Utah to break the all-time scoring record, which Caitlin Clark now owns. But when you think back on your time at Washington and all of those great moments and great players that you got to play against, and here's some of that footage right here, what comes up for you?
Besides the annoying Stanford band, to be honest, I'm just super grateful. There's so many great memories, just the human beings that I've been able to meet along the way. And, you know, it is kind of sad, but at the same time, I do think that the conference should hold their head high. I think we did some things we're really proud of, and like you said earlier, there's 4 teams right now in this tournament that could win the national championship. You know, that's just really a reality. So focusing on the positive and excited for a good second half.
I know one thing, with it being the last hurrah, you will always be the Pac-12's leading scorer. The day you die, girl, nobody's breaking that record. So, but the growth of women's basketball, you were so humble in the way that you handled passing the baton to Caitlin Clark. I loved it. And women's basketball, the growth of it, all these great young stars. Just tell me from that perspective of Caitlin breaking it, and you know, your thoughts on that. How do you reflect upon the greatness? Has it sunk in? Because when you broke it, it hadn't sunk in what you accomplished.
It didn't. I don't think I really understood the magnitude of what it was until maybe a couple years after. But it was really cool to see the game just continue to transcend. I mean, you have Caitlin, but then you have stars like Juju, right? Hannah Hidalgo. There's people that are just continuing to come, and that's, to me, what the sport is all about. It's about growth, and it's about continuing to push the envelope in ways that, you know, women haven't been before. So proud to be a part of it, but listen, the baton is passed, and I'll see you in the W.
Well said. Kelsey, we look forward to watching you continue your terrific career. Three-peat this year?
No pressure.
We're going to enjoy a great second half.
Enjoy a great second half. Like the pro she is. Kelsey Plum, thank you so much for joining us. We got a terrific second half coming your way here from Las Vegas. Oregon State up 8 on the top seed at Stanford Cardinal.
Oregon State making passes, getting the screens, and they found Reagan Beers. She's got 10 points, Mary.
Just a beautiful high-low. You can see the clear out. Bozgana comes to help, and Perova says bottoms up. Stagger screen. Perova just, look at the beautiful screen. Uses it perfectly. Bozgana, Brink both go there. The roll by Beers, 10 points, all in the first quarter.
Take a look at our scoring leaders, brought to you by MGM Rewards. Beers, the only player in double digits. Iriophen and Jump with 8. Brink started off 6 of the first points for Stanford, now hanging with 7. Let's bring Alyssa Charleston back in. She's standing by with the head coach, Scott Ruick. Alyssa.
Coach, your team ended the half on a scoring drought after really starting off hot. What was the message in the locker room?
Why do we have to talk about that? I thought their defense increased in the second quarter. You know, they did a nice job closing gaps a little bit quicker. Just keep doing what we're doing. I mean, defense wins, and so we've got to keep our defense up. Offense will come. We missed shots, but it's a long game. You know, we got a lot to play, and so we'll get that back.
All right, thank you. Good luck.
So just keep doing what they're doing, especially defensively. A lot of things, I think, to be happy about if you are Scott Ruick and Oregon State. But, Mary, both teams kind of went on a bit of a drought late. I mean, not a lot of scoring late in the second quarter. We'll see how this third quarter kicks off. Stanford with the ball.
I think the key to all things for Stanford is Cameron Brink needs to, the frustration level has got to go down and just refocus on the game and not the officials.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they know how they were calling it, and now you just got to play your game as the shot for Iriophen is just short. Rebound to the Beavs. You can't let them take you out of your game. She is such a key piece to what the Cardinal do at both ends. Gardner had a hot hand to start the first half. Cooled off a bit later. Help D coming over. They'll get Marat the shot. And that one just misses.
Great read by Von Oelhoffen.
Tips it away.
It's interesting. The first 2 games of the season with Oregon State, Hannah Jump goes 0 for 10 from 3. 2 of 5 so far in this game. She is a big piece of the puzzle, as is Bozgana and Lapolo.
Yeah, they really need her offensive contribution. She does so many other things out there, but they are different when she's on.
Well, you need to draw the littles out to give the bigs more space in.
Yeah, great point. Bozgana, high post, batted around, Brink, and Iriophen keep it alive. Jump, no hesitation, puts it in.
The offensive rebound by Cameron Brink creates 3 points for Hannah Jump for the second time in this ballgame.
Well, you just said it, they need more of her. She's got 11 points, and now it's a 5-point Oregon State lead. Polo loses on Oelhoffen momentarily. I thought Von Oelhoffen would have had a layup. Instead, she kicks it out, works some more clock. Hunter shot no good. Brink with the box out. She's having to work hard at both ends against Beers and Gardner. Very often calling for it. She wants it. Spins the other way. Offensive foul call. She knocks Gardner across the end line, and that's her third.
The kick out and Hannah jump. And the second it left her hand, she just started back. She knew it was going down. She knows the feel, a career 41% three-point shooter.
And a tough break for Erie Oppen, that third personal, just as this third quarter's gotten started. Dimitri back in. Gardner, tried the finger roll, baby hook won't drop.
Yeah, it's the worst case scenario, isn't it, for Stanford? Had 36 in that massive game, the career high.
Yeah, for sure. Brink muscles her way in. What did Tara say at halftime? She said, we have to be more physical, and they look to be just that. Foul at this end. Second one on Brink.
Pass comes in, and Brink attacks Beers. Gets two, gets the foul at the other end. That's her second.
Second on Brink. 3-point Beeves lead. And Beers and Brink continuing to battle it out inside. They'll say, oh, they threw it all out of play. It's going to go the other way. And
now the turnover, the aggressiveness and the length of Bozgana.
Oregon State saying that.
I think it's going to come back.
Yeah, that it was touched by.
No, it is not.
Stanford, nope. Officials coming together. Melissa Barlow, Bob Schofield, and Anthony Robinson, our trio on the floor tonight.
For Stanford, the goal's got to be just keep it close while Erie Offen's on the bench.
Brink one-on-one with Beers. Hunter with the help down, the polo, too much. That would have been a big bucket there, taking advantage, but
choosing the double off LaPolo.
Yep, make somebody else beat. Yeah, pretty lefty floater, good for Hunter.
And since that loss at Stanford, Donovan Hunter has been a different player, taking control, being aggressive offensively.
She has 6 points, 6 rebounds. Coming off her 13-point outing last night against Colorado. As Bozgana tries to take it in to Marat, knocked out of play, stays with the Cardinal.
And it is tough to be a freshman point guard for Scott Rook because his playbook is seriously hundreds of pages thick. And you've got to know every call, every nuance. Scott changes a lot of things on the fly. He wants to isolate different matchups that he sees throughout the ballgame, and you got to be on the same page. It's a lot to absorb as a freshman.
Yeah, it takes time. There's no doubt. This is a very different looking team from a season ago. And the Brink screen leads to the 3-ball, and 14 now for jump. And the first lead in a long time for Stanford in this one. They had a 4-point lead back in the first quarter. Beers inside, gets that one to trickle over, muscles it up good.
Beers knows who she is on the basketball floor, and she just goes out there and does it time after time.
She's got 12 points.
You can see Hunter just all over jump. Brink.
Oregon State regaining the lead. Brink much more effective this half. As the drive in, the miss, help D coming over, Von Oelhoffen to the court. Stanford gonna push. Brink on the baseline. Got bumped a bit. Beers comes down with it. Oh, the blazing speed. Perova says enough of this.
Perova, second team all FIBA U19 World Cup, has played on the U14, 15, 18, 19, 20. So much international experience.
Brink drawing so much attention. Dimitri without the ball just blazes down the lane, and Brink finds her back within one. Perova blazing speed on that last one for the Beavs.
Brink, 4 assists.
D dropping down, that was Ogden. Around and out, Beers Gonna get whistled for the personal coming over the back. And that's gonna be her second. We'll take the timeout. Oh, it's getting interesting here in Las Vegas. 1-point game. When Charlie Cream gets 0 sleep, Mary, he's been working on the bracketology about an hour ago, and this is kind of the change that's been made.
And Colorado drops from a 4 to a 5. Arizona, you just have to shake your head. How can Arizona be a first team out with the season they have had in the best conference in the country?
Yep.
You can say the same for Washington State and for Cal. You know, in years past, there's been conferences, they go super deep. Just feels like this conference deserves a little more respect.
Yep, I agree with you. I mean, when you look at the resume for Arizona, just their strength of schedule, the record, just the net, it just does not make sense. But we'll see, you know, things can change, and maybe depending on what happens across the nation as well, it'll pan out.
And it's a fluid situation. I mean, Ohio State goes down today.
Yeah.
In the Big Ten tournament to Maryland.
Yep. So that is a factor. And out of the timeout, muscling that one up. It's Aguera with the aggressive play. Her first points.
Had the mismatch inside. Stanford comes out of the timeout and takes advantage.
Regaining the lead.
Boy, when they were down 16, this looked a long way off.
Yep. Whistle and a foul up high.
So here's one positive. Aguera. Clardy, nice pass inside, and Aguera goes to work. Handles the double.
Rova, with the confidence that she has built throughout this season. Aggressive drive, takes it to Brink. Brink gets a piece of it. Rova playing with the senior Czech national team. Dimitri dodges one defender and sticks the 3 after the other.
Dimitri was at half court saying, I'm coming for my shot. Chloe, get me the ball.
Dimitri, a 36% three-point shooter, the junior. Foothill Ranch, California. Hunter uses the screens in the high post so well. Can't get the shot to drop, though.
A 20-point swing. Oregon State had a 16-point lead.
And a 26-6 run since trailing by 16.
As Iriafen watches from the bench.
Yep, picked up the third personal at about the 8+ minute mark of this quarter. And has had to sit and watch, but Dimitri coming in, adding both defense, but also we just saw some offense. Olhoffen has jump on her. She'll kick it out. Perova, Brink coming out at her. And
nice
just
challenge.
Yeah. Good help D from Brink, and now mismatch momentarily. Gardner able to recover. Aguera, Brink, great board. Dimitri, no hesitation, nothing but net.
Again, offensive rebound, kick out. Brink with another assist. She claps her hands together, and the focus is back for Cameron Brink.
5 assists for Cameron Brink. And the senior leader firing her team up.
Keeps it alive, finds her shooter teammate, and Dimitri and the bench and the emotion of Cameron Brink.
Of the Las Vegas Strip, and it is starting to heat up inside the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Stanford flipping things around on a 10-0 run, and they go up 48-41.
Brooke Dimitri, 8 points. What's really impressive for Stanford is Kiki Iriafen gets that third personal foul, and they go on an 18-6 run, so they're plus 12 with Kiki Iriafen on the bench. But keep in mind, with Iriafen on the bench, she is sitting there and she is getting rest. She played 38 minutes last night, so while everybody else is running up and down the floor, when she comes back in the ball game, she's going to be much more well-rested than anybody else.
Yeah, great point, and they're going to need that, and they need more production. Aguera's coming in giving good minutes. You mentioned Brooke Dimitri and what she's done. Look at these numbers, the difference with three-point shooting and just on the floor in this third quarter. It's a 21-6 difference this quarter. Stanford up.
Dimitri played 14 minutes last night in the nail biter against Cal.
They're checking to make sure either the mouth, lip not bleeding for Reagan Beers as they stop play momentarily. So yeah, I get it. It's all good. Got the face mask. Those are so fun to wear.
Yeah, they sure are.
Brink up high, raises the iron. Hit a 3 earlier in the game. 1 for 4 at this point. Brink up D again. Jump was down there trying to help as well.
Dimitri wrestling with Beers.
Brink coming over, the double team. Beeves working around. Parova's shot just misses. Good box out by the Cardinal.
And it shot boxing out Gardner.
This jump at 6 feet, you always gotta love when you have to play a little bit bigger than you normally do. She curls it in, brings it around, sticks it. What a game for Hannah Jump.
It's the best game I've seen her play in a long time on the offensive end. She's been dynamic on the defensive end for most of the season, but really just focused in on what she needs to do on the offensive end.
Scoring has not been easy for the Beavs. They needed that one. Beautiful curl by Von Oelhoffen, and she puts it right through.
They need to get Von Oelhoffen coming off those down screens, the staggers. Looking at her for 3.
She's got 6 points, 3 of 4 shooting. They had only connected on 3 field goals since they were up by 16.
Good job from LaPola. Just pull it back out and let's get organized.
Yep. Sophomore point guard. Jump. Testing Von Oelhoffen, and she gets whistled for the personal.
The handoff just buys Hannah Jump second and a half, enough to slow down Talia Von Oelhoffen. Comes off that down screen, just a beautiful job with the curl.
Second on Von Oelhoffen. Brink and Beers collision inside, and the pass ends up in the hands of Oregon State. As the clock winding down, the shot clock off. And Oregon State chip in to this deficit.
Scott Rua calmed the play and says, can we please get organized?
Gardner uses the screen. It's tipped by Brink. And Hannah Jump will get a shot off, but no good, and that will do it. Quick third quarter, and the Cardinal finish on a 12-2 run.
Brink refocused, Hannah Jump in the zone. You add it up, Stanford has turned the tide, 16 down to up 7.
Seed Stanford and 4-seed Oregon State for winners tonight. Move on to the championship game.
This is going to be a great game tonight.
Iriafen another chance, and Brink takes it right in. Beers gets the bucket.
If Beers hits you, she's going to move you. That's a thing of beauty. This game is just going back and forth.
Drives it, banks it good. Everything clicking for the Beavs.
Iriafen trying to get her team rolling.
Oh, it's getting interesting here in Las Vegas. Cardinal have flipped the script on the Beavs. Let's take a look at the game summary. Getting ready for this fourth quarter. Stanford down by 16 early on, but Mary, a very different feel in the third quarter.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this game started like Stanford had forgotten to set the alarm and kind of just slept through the opening jump. But boy, they have come on, a refocused Cameron Brink, Kiki Iriafen, well rested, but with 3 personal fouls and work to do for Oregon State.
Yep. Dom Perot has been phenomenal for the Beavs. 10 points, 5 assists for her, 4 boards. Just needs a few more to go with her. Double team on Beers and a whistle and a foul.
8 of those 10 in the first half for Perova. So a much better job by Stanford shutting her down.
Third foul on Cameron Brink.
Beers.
Beers to the line, shooting 2.
She makes you feel her.
Yep, she sure does. You could see Brink coming over and got her from behind.
Just an old school power ball player down low. can go to 15 to 17 feet. Outstanding rebounder. And just one of the nicest people off the floor you will ever meet.
Yep, she sure is. Sophomore from Littleton, Colorado. She's got 14. 27 points last night, 13 rebounds.
Played at career-high minutes.
Yeah. Help D and off her leg. It'll go the other way. Hunter.
Yeah, just enough disruption, right?
Yep. Those are the little things. That's what Scott Rueck talked to his team about today. Just do those little things. Make a difference. Throw Stanford off a bit. There's Reagan Beer's dad. Got his Beeve shirt on. Making the trip. Ike. Losing it out of bounds. You see the frustration by a parent in the stands.
Yes, yes.
He'll say it there,
relates,
hopefully not
right?
to her. Yeah. And a few more whistles starting to accumulate now. We didn't have very many early.
But see, that's the point. Take Brink away, bring her to the ball, and as she's trying to make that cut, if you're displacing and not allowing the movement, you're going to get the call.
Foul on Gardner, her second, team's first. Brink out to Dimitri. High post, hits it. Brooke Dimitri came in ready to play. She's perfect, Mare. She's got 10 points, 4 for 4 shooting, 2 for 2 behind the arc.
She has been everything for Stanford. The foul trouble from Kiki Iriafen, no problem.
Kiki's had to sit and watch quite a bit. The third personal at the 8-minute mark in the third quarter. As Beers misses the shot, tries to follow it up, loses her footing, and a jump ball. It's going to go to Stanford.
Yeah, it's hard not to be nice to Reagan Beers as 3 different Stanford players help her up. You can see the contact by Beers.
That's something that Scott Rueck has talked about with Reagan Beers. He said her humility is just off the charts. He said she's just got character through the roof. You gotta love that, though. She is a warrior on the floor, but a great human being. Over her head, and Iriafen to finish, but she'll take it. 10 for Iriafen.
Biggest lead of the game for Stanford.
It's taken them a while, but they've been able to finally extend it out. Beers, lefty layup, trickles over good.
She doesn't do too much. Uses that right arm to kind of guard off, ward off the block by Brink, and then just puts it in with the left.
Gets the finish. She has 16. Iriafen just lost her footing. Turnover, gives it back. Fifth turn of the game for the Cardinal.
Know this about Oregon State. They will not go away. They have dug big holes this year. They come roaring back. We saw that last night against Colorado. That game back and forth and back and forth.
Olhoffen with the bucket.
Quick 4-0 run by Oregon State. Again, just wearing people out with that high post screen.
All right, Hunter, boy, she likes the high post screen. And they needed this run.
Yep. But
Great start.
You watch high post screening across the country. Reagan Beers is second to none.
Beeves were down 9 just minutes ago, and now only down 3, but Hannah Jump says, nope. Put on the line, she'll take the 2. She has 18, big game, and a big turnaround for Hannah Jump. Did not score last night.
And what a great score does, just accelerate to get that ball and shoot it up.
Yep, she's so confident, looking for it, the grad student. All-time leader in three-pointers made. She's adding to those totals, coming into this one, 349. Second in the Pac-12 behind the great former Beeve, Sid Weiss.
Reagan Beers is down.
Oh, goodness. Iriafen was slow to get up as well. Brink's going to help her up.
How does Beers save the possession? The missed shot, and she just muscles her way around Kiki Iriafen. Ball goes off Iriafen, and Beers, what more can she do?
That is a floor burn waiting to happen.
Again, Reagan Beers played 43 minutes last night.
Double OT.
Gardner 40, Donovan Hunter 48.
Against a very physical Colorado team. Shot clock to 5. Gardner uses the screen to Dimitri.
Dimitri.
Oh. And a break for the Beavs as Gardner's going to get 3. Just the first on Dimitri. Gardner's going to go to the line, 91% free thrower. As Lopolo takes a break, Clardy back in.
Remember to last season, Gardner missed the beginning of the season, most of the preseason with injuries, and just battled back. We didn't know if she was going to redshirt, but boy, when she came back, what an awesome season. 9 points, 4 rebounds, and just a difference maker. And this year, you really just see a superstar in the making.
Yeah, you got that right. She had 15 games last year, just a couple of starts, was out for a big chunk of it, and it was just great to see her get herself back. But wow, how she's gotten herself back this year, really something.
And at 6'3", a 41% three-point shooter, and high volume as well.
That's a pro game right there. Kara back in, picks it up, can't get it. Another board for Beers. It's her 6th.
Good decision by Perova. All that international experience.
Oh, it makes a difference. She's showing it.
She is no freshman.
No, she's not. Plays with the senior national team in the Czech Republic. As Beers muscling it up on the left side, gets it back. Here's Perova. She's so quick with the ball as well. Fighting off Iriopton, and how about Perot? Oh! She had the layup, movement without the ball, cuts in the lane, but can't finish. Tough for A.J. Marat.
Hunter just sitting in that passing lane. And that's a good job. Go get the ball.
Yep.
Because if not, Hunter's going to get a layup.
Hannah Jump, frustrated, but it was Hunter tapping it off of Jump again, I think, as it went across.
The denial by Hunter, just a little flick. Jump does a good job of kind of boxing her out, just keep her from getting the basketball.
Yeah, but the active hands of Hunter. Plays like that, making the difference. Brink in, Dimitri off, Clardy off. Polo back in. Bears ready for a high screen in the post.
And a little push off with that left hand.
Polo trying to stay with Von Oelhoffen, and she does. Wow, she took some contact in the high post as well.
Stanford's offense has ground to a halt.
Yep, it has. Hanging on to the 3-point lead with 5 minutes remaining in the game. The winner moving on to the championship game on Sunday.
Nice job by Jump, calming everybody down.
Iriopton turns, squares, sticks it.
That's where her game has taken her this year. That's a tough shot, but it's a money shot for Kiki Iriopton.
It was a tough shot. She's got 12.
You know, it's interesting. There's been a lot of pushing and shoving in the low post area. 4 personal fouls on Kiki Iriopton. Outside in, Iriopton goes to work, but she's going to spend some time on the bench. It's Cameron Brink having a tough scoring game, but 12 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. She is on track for her second triple-double of her career here. Another offensive rebound, assist coming off O-boards, kickouts for Hannah Jump. Her only career triple-double was against Oregon last year. 10 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 block shots. So a triple-double with blocks, looking for a triple-double with assists tonight. The talent of Cameron Brink.
Well, there is certainly plenty of time left in this one, and with the 8 assists, the new career high in that category, and the attention that she's drawing, she's not afraid to dish it off to her teammates. That's for certain. Let's bring Alyssa Charleston back in. What you got for us, Alyssa?
Well, Cam's impact is just across the board, especially in practice. You talk about Kiki Iriopton being the Pac-12's most improved player. She told me yesterday it's iron sharpens iron. Going against Cam all year this year and last year and the year before, it has made her a lot better in practice. And then the opportunity for Kiki Iriopton just to play, you know, with Fran Belibi leaving, is these two, watching them together has just been a ton of fun.
Yeah, it certainly has in Mary Iriopton's game. 15 double-doubles for her this year, 16 in her career, so just 1 a season ago. She has flipped things up a notch, and a lot of that's because of that play against Brink every day. Beavs have not scored in over 2 minutes. There's Beers with the takeaway. Not going to allow Brink to have it in there.
Just needed a better passing angle. Wasn't there.
Oregon State was down last night to Colorado and then forced the overtime.
That was a classic.
It certainly was. Now a takeaway by the Cardinal. Clardy in. She'll bring it up. Aguirre back in.
And how Colorado is not going to be a 4 seed.
Yeah, just mind-blowing, but we'll see how it all finishes up. They've had quite an incredible season as Brink gets 14, the baseline, and Clardy trying for the steal and gets it. Sneaky play on the inbound. Dimitri on the trail, Brink right there. Defense creating some offense.
2 freshmen on the floor for Stanford making an impact.
Clardy snuck up and got the inbound, the freshman from Conway, Arkansas, and it's a 6-0 Stanford run.
In a minute and a half. And it felt like it was really, the momentum was moving back towards Oregon State.
Yeah, it definitely did. Clardy almost another. Beers deep in the paint. And she and Brink get tied up. That's going to be 4 on Brink.
Clardy just sneaks right up and says, here I am. And the bench is like, come on back, everybody. And here comes Cameron Brink, and Brink will sit.
Picked up 4th. She'll take a seat. Clardy and Aguirre as well. Apollo and Iriafen. Rusgana back in.
So Brink sits with 4. Iriafen comes back in with 4.
Just missing the free throw. It was Beers.
And this, with the fatigue, you just have to give it a little bit more.
Yeah, great point. Gotta have some tired legs. Got to get those legs under you.
Yeah, it's the struggle of the back-to-back, isn't it?
Yep.
Full court pressure from Oregon State.
All of the teams getting the first round bye, but last night's double OT for Oregon State. It'll take it out of you. Very often feeling out the D. Can't get it, Beers. Well played by Beers, but it's tipped out. Dimitri keeps it alive. It'll stay with Stanford.
Yeah, nice job by both Bozgana and Dimitri just getting in there and giving themselves another shot at it.
You can see Tara Vanderveer. She's got 1,213 all-time wins, and jump continues. 20 for Hannah Jump.
We talked early in the game that the perimeter offense for both these teams was going to be a big determinant as who wins. Jumps played a huge part for Stanford.
She certainly has. Yeah, which team's perimeter game could connect? Well, Hannah Jump has done just that. A season high for her with 20. Von Oelhoffen says, me too.
I would not leave Talia Von Oelhoffen open. All she does all this season is make big shot after big shot.
She has 11.
The kick out, swing it, Perova, better shot, Talia Von Oelhoffen. The bench.
Up and loving it with 2:09 remaining. Oh, coming up next, we're going to send you to the desk. Our Tums game break, Ashley, Elise, and Angela, and Teresa Gould, the new commissioner, going to pay a visit to the desk. Doing a great job this entire tournament, ladies. Finishing off with these semifinals.
And here's the all-important game reset.
So the Beavs, 2 timeouts. Yep, just 1 team foul. Cardinal 4. So if you're Oregon State, maybe you can take advantage of that. 4 timeouts, though, for Stanford. And now full court pressure. Dimitri.
Gotta go.
Yep.
Get that ball to half court in a hurry.
And they get it across. Iriafen kept waiting for it. And now try to work a little clock. Dimitri in the high post just didn't quite get her legs under her. Chance for Oregon State. Dimitri helping down. I wouldn't sag too far off Perova if I was Dimitri. They kick it across, Hunter, left corner. Just misses.
That's like a rebound and a half for Ariafen.
It sure was. Her 9th board of the game and a foul call. Gonna go against Perova, her first. And the team's second.
And those fouls stop the clock. And for Scott Ruick, the clock is not his friend. Brink comes back with 4.
Clardy in. Lozgana off. And substitutions both sides. Gardner on. Beers will take a seat.
Well, one reason you want Brink on the floor, of course, her height. She has great hands, but she's a terrific foul shooter.
Yep. Absolutely. Ariafen
Kiki
brings it over, and the defense was trying to catch her.
It's the kind of move that makes a coach hold their breath.
Yep.
No reason to be in a hurry.
3-possession game. Ariafen sealing off inside, lefty layup, good.
Another assist for Cameron Brink.
She's up to 9. She's 1 away from a triple-double, around and out. Tough miss for the Beavs there.
Boy, Gardner just red hot to start this ball game and just never regained the heat.
Oh, you're so right. She had the hot hand, hit multiple buckets back to back.
Best front line in America. Brink to Ariafen. Watch Kiki work.
Foul on Hunter. Her second, team's third. Work it into Brink and playing a little keep away. The game's a 3-possession game. This clock winding down. Stanford just working it. Thought about it, brings it in. Shot is up, no good. Gardner, no good. And Stanford down by 16 in the first half. Flip this game around. And they are moving on to the championship game on Sunday. They'll await the winner of our next semifinal between USC and UCLA. Win number 12-14 for Tara.
Down 16, Stanford outscores Oregon State 47-22 the rest of the way. And Tara Vanderveer, once again, along with the Stanford team, will move on to the finals of the Pac-12, the final Pac-12 tournament game.
They're going to be going for number 16 in the Pac-12 tournament of 23 seasons. They've got 15 of them, a chance for number 16. You take a look at our bracket presented by Acura. Number 1 seed Stanford moving on. They'll await 2 seed USC, 3 seed UCLA winner. We've got that one for you next. But 1 championship team in. And for Oregon State, what a season for the Beavs. Can't wait to see what they do in the postseason.
Exactly right. We'll see you in the NCAA tournament, Oregon State.
Great job by the Beavs. Let's go now to Ashley, Elise, and Angela at the desk.
Krista, thank you so much. Stanford back in the championship game for the 7th time in 8 years. They will go for their 16th Pac-12 tournament title tomorrow night after trailing by as many as 16 points in the semifinal showdown. They come all the way back to take down Oregon State. Angela Taylor, Elise Woodward, Ashley Adamson back with you. Whew.
Great game.
Wow. I mean, and we knew it was going to be, and it was a heavyweight battle. And you wondered how much the double overtime game last night maybe affected Oregon State down the stretch because they just ran out a little bit of gas. But credit to the Beavs who came out strong. What was the difference ultimately for you in this one, Angela?
Well, Ashley, I think the first thing was the finish for Stanford at the end of the first half. They went on an 8-0 run to close out the first half. And don't underestimate the importance of them closing that gap and being under a 10-point deficit going into halftime. And then Elise and I talked about it at the half. Stanford shooters came out early at halftime and were getting up a lot of shots. They knew that they were going to have to space the floor and hit jumpers to get Stanford back into this ball game. Stanford came out, they were much more aggressive and physical in the second half, and then their in-out game. They did a phenomenal job. Cameron Brink, Kiki Ariafen Nunu Agara, when they got the ball on the block, kicking it out to open shooters, Hannah Jump was tremendous. Her gravity, when she is hitting shots, just unlocks Stanford's offense in a way that you just cannot believe.
Well, and I thought Hannah Jump was absolutely phenomenal. She was my player of the game. 20 points, some much-needed buckets, and you had to have the non-Kiki and Cameron show up in this game to provide points, and did they? And it wasn't just Hannah Jump. She tied her season high. There she is, putting on the Stanford, heading to the finals, and that is an honor she deserves. But it was also Brooke Dimitri. 4 for 5, 10 points for Brooke Dimitri. She played some good defense. She was a mismatch problem at times for Tamia Gardner, and I thought she played really well. The combination of those two shot lights out today.
Well, we talked about how it was going to be the battle of the bigs, and so much was made of that, and there's plenty to talk about there. But then you made the point, Angela, it's going to be who can get going on the perimeter. Yeah. Hannah Jump, she did not score last night against Cal. First time she's been held scoreless all season long, and she was 0 for 10 from 3 in the first 2 regular season meetings against the Beavs. What do you think it was that allowed her to get loose and hit those shots that she did?
Well, I think the matchup, she used her screens so well today, and when Tamia Gardner was forced to chase and run around, it's difficult because, you know, she's a player, that's her game, and she showed up today. I think for Stanford, Oregon State came out so hot to start. They were making everything, they were making every right read, and then Stanford just tightened up that defense.
And they join the set now. Cameron Brink and Hannah Jump, we were just singing both of your praises. Hannah, I'm going to start with you. I know it's hard to hear, that Stanford band behind us. 20 points, you made so many big shots. What was going right for you, and what was allowing you to get open and knock some of those down?
I mean, my bigs were setting me some great screens. I was just being more patient, playing with confidence, and I just knew that I just had to come out here and do my thing, and everything else would fall. You know, I was just playing loose and having fun.
For you, you had to hit a 3 against Oregon State. Winning 4 straight Pac-12 regular season championships and now heading back to the Pac-12 title. But you weren't there last year. But for you, not hitting a 3 against Oregon State in the regular season, you come out, how were you able to put 20 on so easily, and how much did that mean for your team, Hannah?
I mean, I just knew coming into this, my team had so much confidence in me. That's all they've been telling me since last game. And I knew that if I came in here, played my game, played with confidence, and the rest would follow. I mean, I'm so proud of all these girls. We worked so hard to be back here, especially after last season, and to come back to the ship. I'm so excited for us Sunday.
Well, Cameron, we know that the starters, you guys play so many minutes and do so much for this Stanford team. We got some big-time plays by players off the bench. Chloe Clardy came in, had a big steal. Brooke Dimitri had a great game. You had Nunu Agara on the boards and playing really physical inside against Reagan Beers. Courtney Ogden came in and hit a jumper. How important is it for the depth for the Stanford roster to show up?
Yeah, no, like you said, I'm so proud of Brooke, Nunu, Chloe. You know, we play 10 people and we're deep, and yeah, we work our butts off, and yeah, I couldn't be more proud of them. Look at them behind me. I'm proud of you.
I mean, this is what's going on behind you right now is just amazing. Elena was going to start playing the clarinet. This is incredible. Cam, I got to ask you, a career high 9 assists, and you were just 1 assist shy from another triple-double. We talked about the battle down low. It felt like Reagan Beers, she got loose early. She had 10 points in the first quarter. What changed defensively? How were you guys able to kind of change what you were doing down low in the second half?
Yeah, you know, I'd like to take a second to give her flowers. You know, Reagan's a great post player, and she's so hard to guard. So I needed help, and my teammates did a great job of tagging the roller and helping me down low. And then Kiki went onto her for a bit, and then I kind of started to help double. But yeah, she's a great player. Honestly, Oregon State, they execute, and they're a great team, so we're really happy with this dub.
Cam, your passion, I love it. When all the great plays that you make and then you get fired up, you were no more fired up with one of those 9 assists. Every time somebody hit a big shot, you're the best teammate at that moment. You get them so fired up. Tell me about that mentality and why that helps your team.
Yeah, it's all about instilling confidence into everybody else because, you know, all they do, like teams key on Kiki and I, and, you know, we just want to spread the love, and they're more than capable of hitting, you know, every shot they take. So, you know, it's just about them, and I'm just really happy for them.
Hannah, we noticed that you and a lot of the shooters came out early at halftime. First, we're curious what Tara said to you at halftime, but in the second half, you guys had 25 assists on 29 field goals made. You were sharing the ball impeccably well. What is the catalyst for that?
Yeah, I think, you know, we came in at halftime and we knew we didn't play our best first half, and we knew that if we came out and played Stanford women's basketball that second half that we were going to have them right where we wanted them. You know, she just told us to keep shooting with confidence. We were getting the looks that we wanted, just needed to knock them down, and we did that in the second half.
Hannah, Cam, it's awesome having you here. It's awesome having your whole team and the band.
I know.
Congratulations. We will see you on Sunday. USC or UCLA coming up next, and you're going to get the winner of that one. I think we need the band to play us off, and I'd really like, it looked like Elena was about to play the clarinet, which I'd be for. Go ahead.
For the jump. You gotta do the jump.
How good is March? What a start to semifinal Friday here at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. Stanford comes back from down 16 to take down Oregon State. 66-57 is the final, and they will be back in the championship game for the 7th time in the last 8 years. Angela Taylor, Elise Woodward, Ashley Adamson with you. The Stanford band just left. They played through that whole break, by the way. Give them credit.
All right now.
It was cool to see. I will just say, before we go through the highlight, it was cool to see the joy spilling onto this set. Stanford, they win these games. We've seen it so many times. So for them to come back and have this moment, that was cool.
It never gets old. Yeah. And you have to remember, we've seen it year after year after year. For each of these players, it's their only freshman year. It's their only sophomore year. This is the only senior year. Well, maybe next year for Cameron Brink, right, with COVID. But, I mean, it's their first time experiencing it. They didn't make it to the title game last year. And that burns at them. They dropped out of the tournament in the NCAA tournament in the second round. That burns at them. This is a hungry Stanford team, and you see that passion for Cam Brink. And I'll just say that battle with Reagan Beers, the mutual respect, helping each other up, patting each other on the backside, when all of that, and then just battling. That was a big-time battle inside with Kiki Urioff and Tamia Gardner as well. Boy, that was fun to watch.
Yeah, I love the mutual admiration that these post players have for each other. And when we talk about Stanford celebrating the little victories, it starts with Tara. You can tell Tara loves this team. She has so much joy when she's talking about all the players. But a week ago, when they had the chance to clinch at home, they talked about they were going to celebrate the Pac-12 championship if they do win it. They have not celebrated the championship at home in a number of years. Tara appreciates the moments. The last year that the Pac-12 is comprised as currently configured, I think they recognize this is a really special opportunity.
Yeah, Tara Vanderveer said it is as important as ever to get this championship win, and boy, they're going to have a chance to go for the tournament title to go along with their regular season title on Sunday. Let's take you through these highlights. Reagan Beers on a mission to start the game. She had 10 of her 17 points in the first quarter, at least.
A menace on the low block.
Yeah, she's just so strong and physical, and it was a hard matchup.
Stanford down 16 in the second quarter. Kiki Urioff hits a huge bucket there, the long two, so cuts the deficit to 14. And Hannah Jump, boy, we just talked to her. What a night for her to show up. Tied her season high with 20 points, 4 of 7 from downtown. And then Cameron Brink.
That was a big move by Cameron. She got the ball and immediately went to the rim.
The third quarter, 23-8 for Stanford.
How about that rebound and kick out to Brooke Dimitri by Cameron Brink? And Dimitri came up with some big buckets, so efficient, 4 of 5 from the floor, 10 points. Talia von Oelhoffen also efficient, 5 of 7 from the field. But it was just Stanford in the end that felt like they had too much down the stretch. Uri Offen knocking down the jumper there, 14 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists for Kiki. I mean, so many different stat lines for those Stanford players, and it all adds up to an impressive win over the 4th-seeded Oregon State Beavers. Afterwards, Alyssa caught up with the Hall of Fame head coach, Tara Vanderveer.
Coach, you're high-fiving your players, the celebration. What does it mean to go back to your 16th Pac-12 tournament championship?
You know, I'm not keeping count. This is really special. I'm really proud of our team. We kind of dug ourselves a big hole and dug ourselves out. And I'm really proud of everyone, how hard they played. Cam battled out there. It was very physical. Oregon State is an excellent, excellent team. So our team can be really proud of the afternoon.
Cam had 9 assists, just 1 assist shy of a triple-double, but your team had 25 assists on 29 made field goals.
Fish basketball, people happy, great little steal right there by Chloe. Everyone doing whatever they need to do. I'm really excited. I'm really happy for them. So, and we've got a day to get ready for the winter, and it's just awesome. So, thank you. Thank you.
Competing for championships, Coach. Congratulations.
That's what she does, compete for championships. All right, it is International Women's Day, and boy, oh boy, look who we get to have on the set coming up next. Teresa Gould, the newly minted commissioner of the league, joins us. Stick around. Well, that's what they were playing for on Sunday afternoon. Stanford punched their ticket to the Pac-12 championship game with an impressive comeback win over Oregon State, and we'll find out who's going to meet them in the ship on Sunday, USC or UCLA. And it's fitting that today is International Women's Day. I love this moment on our set every year when we get some of the phenomenal women at the Pac-12 on set for a picture. Looking a little awkward, but that's a lot of great women right there. Yeah, I mean, I never knew what to do with my hands in those pictures. Teresa Gould, the commissioner of the Pac-12, joining us now front and center on that picture. It is great to see you, T. I usually bring you in kind of as a surprise when we're doing that, so this time you actually knew that we were going to set you up for these questions. I got to ask you, you've been part of this tournament for so many years, first when you were at Cal and then the last 6 as deputy commissioner. What has this one been like for you?
Really fun, but I'd say bittersweet at the same time. But I'm trying to focus on the celebration, right? And I've always viewed this event as a celebration of Pac-12 women's basketball, right? It's, in my view, the best thing that we do all year long. It brings together a community of people, whether it's fans, staff, you know, so many people. And of course, the student athletes are out here performing and entertaining all of us. But it's really my best event of the year, and we're just having a blast. And it's just so great to be here and see the fan support, see these games. I mean, I'm sitting there with the chair of the Division I Women's Basketball Committee sitting next to me, and I'm saying, these are Sweet 16, Elite 8 matchups.
Final Four.
That we are watching right here, right? So it's just a blast. I love this event. I'm having so much fun.
You know, it's really cool for me talking about the history of this conference and all the great players. During the game earlier, it was Natalie Williams and it was Kelsey Plum out there accepting an award. Of course, Natalie Williams, the 2-sport All-American at UCLA, and Kelsey Plum, Pac-12's all-time leading scorer from Washington. The talent runs so deep. We're seeing it on the floor right now. But for you, who's been with the Pac-12 forever, you said this is one of your favorite events. You have a favorite or some players that you've seen in the past that you stand out to you from the Pac-12 conference?
Well, I have such an interesting perspective, right? Because I was on campus for Cal's Final Four run in 2013, and some of those young women are now sitting on benches coaching for teams in the Pac-12. So that's like a reunion for me. But look, I go back. I have a great personal relationship with Kelsey. I love Sabrina. There's so many memories over time of these young women. And what I love about this event is all of them coming back and continuing to participate in this celebration. And it's such a great legacy that we've created here. And the connection that all of these young women have with each other is just really special. And that's really what this is all about for me.
Well, Teresa, we had Kelsey Plum on the set earlier. And one of the things that Kelsey has talked about quite often in her professional career is how important it is to have women in leadership positions, that representation matters. When I think about women's sports, women empower communities. Empowered women empower communities. What is it about this role that you feel is an opportunity for you to continue to grow the sport?
Yeah, well, Angela, that wasn't lost on me when I decided to say yes, right? And I think I mentioned in my press conference, I got 350 text messages within a matter of hours. And the ones that meant the most to me were colleagues who talked about the conversation they had with their daughters about why this was so meaningful. And my next door neighbor from the Bay Area who said, I read the press release to my kids and they were running around going, one and only, one and only. And to me, if part of what I can do in this role is to inspire other women, then I want to do that. I want to do that. That's not why I took this job, I will say, but if that's one of the byproducts, then that's a success for me too.
So Teresa, the natural follow-up to that great answer is why did you take this job and what is your focus now? Because there's so many different things that are on your plate that you are trying to figure out as you put this puzzle piece together. Tell us what the vision in the future is.
Yeah, well, I think the reason I took this job is really simple. I think after everything transitioned in August, I couldn't stop thinking about the more than 1,000 student athletes on these two campuses that need a home. And, you know, like you said, I've been in this league for 25 years, and I'm in this business because I want to serve young people and because I believe in what college athletics can do for young people. And I know that there are student athletes in Pullman, Washington and Corvallis, Oregon who need somebody who's going to fight. And that's why I took this job. And I'll tell you, these next 4 months, I'm going to serve all of them. Like, they're all mine. And I'm going to make sure these student athletes have a great experience right up until the end. I want all of them to leave this conference and go to their new conferences and say, we had a great experience in the Pac-12. They supported us. They cared about us. That's important to me. But then I'll turn the page. And my job is really to help navigate the future, be a leader in this industry at a time where things are upside down, and make sure that I work with the campus leaders at these two schools to figure out their future and find a home for these deserving student athletes.
You've had so many people who I know are in your corner. You have great relationships with people all over campus and all over the country in the college athletic space. What's the best advice you've gotten as you've taken on this role and been in the spotlight?
I'd say there are two, Ashley. And the first piece of advice that I got almost immediately from my husband was to stay off of Twitter.
Ron Gould, a smart man.
And anybody who knows me knows that's actually really hard for me. So, you know, he's been in the public eye a little bit himself, and he said, I think you should just stay off of Twitter. And the second piece, honestly, is I've had so many people as I navigate into these uncharted waters and sit at a table where there's never, ever been a woman sitting at that table at a really interesting time in our business, and they all just keep saying the same thing. Be you. Just be you, and being you is going to be good enough. So I have to remember that as I sit around a room with a bunch of people that don't look like me.
Well, Teresa, when I think about the Pac-12, I think about this global brand. Whenever you mention the Pac-12, people start to think about the decades of excellence. You think about Bill Walton talking about the Conference of Champions. What are some of the things and your priorities moving forward to make sure that we retain the prominence of that brand?
Yeah, well, look, I think there are a lot of different scenarios that could play out in the future for Oregon State and Washington State, but the Pac-12 means something, right? The Pac-12 has been successful and won more national championships than any other conference in the country and created these extraordinary leaders for a reason. And I feel very strongly that having an Autonomy 5 conference in the West is important. And it's not just important to these student athletes in these campuses, it's important to our communities, our high school students, our youth students. So it means something, and I think this brand has always meant something different in terms of our values and how we do things. And I want to retain that in whatever the plan is moving forward for these two institutions.
Teresa, I just have to tell you from a personal standpoint, thank you. Since I started at the Pac-12 12 years ago when you were at Cal, you have been nothing but unbelievable, and it's been amazing work with you this last 6 years. And I know we got more basketball to watch tonight and on Sunday, and we got more to do, but I just want to say thank you, and I'll be cheering for you every step of the way.
Ashley, I appreciate that, and I have to just say to all of you, like, the important part of this community that you have been, and we wouldn't have the successful basketball product we have if it weren't for the Pac-12 networks and the amazing women that have told these stories for so many years. So I appreciate you all.
We appreciate that very much. Teresa Gould, the commissioner of the Pac-12, go enjoy this game because we got another terrific matchup coming up. Charisma Osborne and the UCLA Bruins fired up to take on their crosstown rivals. Tip-off coming your way in 22 minutes time. We'll be back to talk about this matchup next.